Hey otakus, what's up? It's your tour guide here. We have another comic haul video, and I don't normally do haul videos so frequently. I just, last weekend I picked up some books and posted a video. Picked up a pretty significant book by Neal Adams, and this haul also features a Neal Adams book that I picked up, and we'll go over what that is. But before we do, I want to just reiterate my sort of approach to buying books. Now, most of you who follow me on my channel know I don't have a particularly large budget. There are some big books that I want to pick up, and they're not, I guess, expensive for most people. But for my budget, it's a bit out of my range, especially with with my trying to submit some CGC books. I'm preparing a submission right now, possibly for next month, and that's going to take a big chunk of cash or budget that I kind of have each month. So it's actually takes a big chunk of my monthly budget. So I'm having to pace out 3 months in advance to submit that CGC. So I probably won't be buying books for the next 3 months, but I am able to pick up, within reason, like dollar books and stuff like that. So in those instances, I'm on the lookout for this is just really sort of bargain finds and bargain bin finds. And recently I've been heading to my main source of comics these days, Half Price Books. And as you know, I picked up some pretty good deals there. Even a lot of the modern stuff, even for half price, it's not really that much of a bargain or value. But if you're lucky enough to find 90s, 80s, and even in some cases 70s Bronze Age stuff, like I picked up a Bronze Age Green Lantern recently for 25 cents. I mean, in those instances, you really can't pass up those kinds of deals. So that's where I'm kind of at in terms of my comic hauls these days. I'm not spending a lot. There are books I do really want to pick up. I'm not going to share one of those books until I actually have it in my hands. But it's something I'm looking out for. And right now it's around 125 bucks. And so I'm kind of trying to see whether I should do the CGC submission or go after that book and do CGC at some point down the line. The issue is I only have a few months left on my CGC subscription, and so I feel like maybe doing the submission first and then waiting on the book might be better, because I'm sure, even though this book is probably going to skyrocket at some point or just go up steadily I'm just kind of trying to prioritize which one I should do first. So as I do that, let's go through what I got. And I also want to talk about the Korean concept of Oon-myoung that guides my comic book hunts. Now, as you know, Oon-myoung is the Korean word for fate or destiny, and it really is sort of like everybody has a path. Everybody walks a certain path, and that path is unique, that experience is unique. So this is not, you know, a foreign concept. It's pretty universal. But you know, Koreans view Oon-myoung as something that you really can't control, and it's something that you are kind of destined to run across certain things. Again, that's out of your control. And I kind of take that approach to my comic book hunts or hauls. Whenever you go into a long box, you never know what you're going to find. And you really have to set some parameters for yourself. So, for example, you know, one of the sort of the regrets that I have, I recently ran into a Neal Adams Green Lantern, the heroin addiction issue that was sitting in one of the long boxes at Half Price Books. I think it was priced at like $50, and which is, and I don't remember the grade per se, but the grade looked decent, but it was $50, and that's a real steal or a bargain. But I passed on it because I just didn't have $50 to spend on a book. But in hindsight, I probably should have bought it and found a way to, like, you know, justify the budget somehow. Because that's a book that probably I won't run across again. Or if I do run across it, I'll be paying a lot more to have it in my possession. So those are that's the kind of concept I work with. You know, you're gonna run into books, and rather than trying to pick up everything you run into and wanting everything that you run into, you really have to set some parameters and goals for yourself, but also be open to the fact, be open to something coming across your path that you probably should pick up and not pass. And then also having the discipline to pass those things that you run into that aren't meant to connect with you, that aren't meant to go home with you, because they're just not what you would call PC material. And so I hope this doesn't sound like a rant, but this is sort of the approach to my comic hunting that I take with me. And for the most part, it's worked out fairly well for me on these hauls. Do I love everything I pick up? No, but for the most part, I do want it for the collection for one reason or another. And you know, I think I'll pick up a lot of these books that have value. I am looking to pick them up cheap, and hopefully, you know, at some point maybe sell them or trade to get more value out of from what I paid. But that's how I'm approaching these kinds of long box encounters or short box encounters. Now, this is a free comic book. It's Preacher Special Number 1, put out on, I guess, I'm assuming, Free Comic Book Day in 2016. It's already been 6 years since this comic's come out. But as you know, when you go to Half Price Books and you find a free comic, you pick it up because you get it for free. At least that's how it's done at my Half Price Books. And I love it when every time I go to the counter with a free comic book, they're looking for the price tag when it says free right here. And I have to remind them, hey, free means free. So I got this book for free. Yeah, I mean, nothing special about this book. I don't, I've never read Preacher. I do know it's pretty popular for being violent and just having a good story. So this looks to be some kind of, I guess they premiered the television series on AMC, and this is an issue sort of highlighting that event, the AMC special. Let me know if you've watched this series, what you thought of it. It looks like a decent cover. It's a pretty gory cover. There's a guy at the bar who just looks like he got shot in the head or something, and just the preacher standing there. Oh, looks like he got hit in the head and he's bleeding out by the bar. His arm's broken, his fingers are broken. Pretty gruesome cover, but Steve Dillon cover. Again, this is something I got free, so we're going to pass that. Now, the next book is a great example of Oon-myoung, the Korean philosophy, or the Korean concept of fate and destiny. And this is a comic book I read way back in the day, and I just remember it took me a long time to read, because it's not just comic book panels. There's like letters and there's like prose, but that was Alan Moore's The Watchmen, which is a really wonderful and amazing comic book. And I just remember, it being a huge, just a little confusing, a little kind of over my head in terms of, the larger themes and message of the story. But, just kind of playing upon sort of a post-Vietnam, post-World War II, post-Vietnam, sort of Cold War America, and where these like golden age superheroes kind of stood. It was a great story. And one of the characters in it, sort of the main characters, who's kind of going around sleuthing and everything, is Rorschach. And I found this beautiful peach Momoko cover of Rorschach. I guess it's a limited series. This is book 2 of, I believe, 4 in the series. It maybe chapter, 2 of 4. 3, sorry. 2 of 4 in the series. No, it looks to be an ongoing series. Excuse me. So this is an ongoing series, not a mini-series. And this is issue 2 in that series. And just it's a little fascinating in the sense that I don't know who that character is, but it is just beautiful peach Momoko art. You got trees, you got sort of like a blood red moon. You got the Rorschach character there. Just everything you love about a peach Momoko cover. And now this is exactly, so as you know, I'm trying to just pick up anything and everything that's peach Momoko, which is really hard to do on a budget and whatnot. Again, if things come across my way and it's half price, I got this for $2.50 for a peach Momoko book. That's a pretty, I would say, good deal, and happy to add this to my peach Momoko cover collection, or peach Momoko collection, I should say. She's one of my favorite artists, and just love her work. and she's doing a lot of great covers. And I gotta say, like, the more covers she does, the more, it's just like, I mean, she does a lot of covers, so it's impossible to try and collect everything. But I'm really trying to focus on the stuff that really that I really like, in terms of the characters I like, the books I like, and the art. And I would say this falls in that category because, again, Watchmen was a comic book I really enjoyed, and I also enjoyed the movie. I haven't read any of the new, I guess, Watchmen series. I know they came out with a Watchmen series, I believe in like 2010 or so. I didn't get a chance to read any of that, but I hope they do more with the Watchmen series and with this character, and yeah, just a good book too. Great cover to add to my collection. I like everything about this cover, the trade dress here, and the colors, and just a great animation. Okay, now let's get to the. So it's a small haul, and as the title mentions, it is a $1 Neal Adams book, and talk about, I've just picked up, I would say in the past, maybe 2 months, I picked up, I want to say four Neal Adams books. And this is my fifth in just the past 2 months. And I picked up three since news of his passing. And now it's not like I was going out looking for Neal Adams books. These books are just, again, it's like I'm just going to have price books. I'm obviously, if Neal Adams right now is top of mind on every collector's, just in every collector's mind right now. And so when you're at half price books, or when you're at the comic shops, if you run across a Neal Adams book, you're going to try to pick it up. And same with George Perez. Now, there was a George Perez book there as well. It was sort of a beat-up copy, the fourth issue of Batman Year 3. And, I could have picked it up for, I think, $2 or what they had it at. But it was a beat-up copy, and I just, I kind of passed on that one. But this next book, I didn't want to pass up on it because I got a pretty good deal on it. Again, I got it for $1. Now, it's not the best copy in the world, but when you look at the cover, you will understand, just the genius of Neal Adams. And this is Batman Annual number 14. And for those of you who collect Neal Adams, or who just kind of follow his work, know that this cover of Two-Face, he has another version of this. It's a similar cover. It's on the Batman number 234, an issue from 1971 where Batman's tied to the mast of this boat, of a sailing ship, and Two-Face is sort of there in the background as well. Again, Batman 234. This is it's kind of like, I guess, a self-homage cover, um, in the sense that it's drawn very similarly to that uh, that Batman cover from the Bronze Age, but it's given a modern. It has a modern feel to it, especially with, like the suit, the necktie, um, the hairstyle, and I think, um, yeah, Dent looks a lot younger and a lot more grotesque on the flip side. So this is just a beautiful cover by Neal Adams, and this is a key book just because of the cover. And I was able to again pick this beautiful piece up for $2. So, like I did um, in the last video where I picked up, a Neal Adams cover for Superman from the Bronze Age, Superman 243. I took special care to clean the cover, kind of wipe it down, get all the dirt and dinge off. And that is what I'm going to do with this as well. As you can see, it hasn't been taken care of. It's been sitting out of the bag and board. I had actually put this in here, and so what we're going to do is we're going to take it out. We're going to just kind of give it a nice wipe down with some cleaning agent, and try to get it a little cleaner, and then put it in a nice bag and board and just have it to enjoy. So I'll be back in just a quick minute. Thanks. Okay, so I have the comic here, and we're going to just do what I did last time, just taking a cotton swab. This is some just light cleaning agent. I'm just lightly kind of spreading the agent on, and hopefully just killing whatever germs and stuff that's on the book. And it is a little damp, but not damp to the point where it's going to soak into the book. But kind of damp enough so that it's not dry and it's picking up any residue that's on the surface. And already I'm seeing some gunk here on the... I'm not sure what that is, but I'm sure you can see it right there. Do you see where my finger is? Right there. There's one right there. There's another one right there. And they're just little stains. And it looks to be some kind of just, it looks like splatter. Something splattered on here. And we're just going to try to get as much of that splatter off. I'm getting some of it off on this part right there, but it looks to have soaked in a little bit. So maybe a lost cause. Now I already am seeing a lot of the gunk on the cover come off. As you can see right there, there's just some gunk there getting off. And again, this is not a high-grade book, and even if this were a high grade, I mean, I'm sure it wouldn't get like probably talking like $50 at most for a really high grade copy. which for a lot of people, I guess, maybe wouldn't constitute. See, that's the gunk I'm getting off there. Wouldn't constitute maybe this much attention for a book, but you know, for me, this is. I mean, this is sort of just the way I kind of pay tribute to Neal Adams. Look at that. That's really dirty right there. And I found a sort of a dirty section of the book right over here. And now, mind you, this is a book from 1990, so this is right around the time when I was just, you know, kind of in the prime of following Jim Lee and picking up books, and you know, this was right around the start of the 90s boom. And so you know, the fact that Neal Adams, a legend of the Bronze Age, was still putting out amazing covers like this is a testament to his career. And I'm sure when this book came out, there was a lot of attention. You know, this garnered a lot of attention from collectors. And again, I'm just happy to have it in my collection. I think for me, anything Neal Adams, whether it's a dollar book or, you know, Silver Age book, is going to be a thank you and addition to the collection. So yeah, we're still getting dinge and stuff off. This area here seems to be particularly dirty, and so we're just gonna, especially around his signature here. Now, I don't know what is going on with this cover, but there just seems to be like it's just so strange. There's like stains on the cover, and I don't know if there's like water damage or like some kind of, there's a stain right there. I think you can probably see it on the back up maybe a little better here. There's stains here as well, some staining here. So I mean, this is just a really it's not a well taken care of book at all, and it looks to have been read multiple times. So whoever owned this book obviously didn't see the value in this book. Maybe they were a collector, but this wasn't one of the books that they thought should be worth their time and effort to take care of. But now that it's in my possession, I will not take that attitude in owning this book. I will do my best to take care of it. And yeah, starts with just doing this. Now, this definitely does need a press, and I may do that at some point. I just don't want to do it. I don't have to pay a premium for it. Maybe it's something when I'm retired and, you know, pressing becomes one of those things that you can just buy like a waffle iron sized comic book presser. I'm sure they'll come out with some of those, not those big industrial t-shirt pressing things, but someone will develop like a comic book specific pressing machine. and then when those go down in price and become more convenient to have at home, I'll do that in my retirement. Just sit around pressing books. I see people doing that now on YouTube, just these older guys enjoying their retirement, picking up, books like this and pressing them and just having a grand old time picking up books for their collections and stuff. So hopefully I'll get to that stage at some point where I can just enjoy the hobby and really bring kind of revitalize some of these older books that they really need to be treasured. And so, yeah, thank you for sticking around and watching this. I think this is I'm just sharing with you my journey, my comic book journey, and I have over 100 some videos on this channel now, and they've all been things where I'm picking up books, I'm covering the grades, I'm just admiring covers, and just sharing with you what comes into my collection. And so I know there's a few of you that are following and enjoying what I share. And this isn't one of those CGC unboxings where I'm just unloading a bunch of high grade, high valued key books, which I could or spec books. I don't necessarily spec on a lot of stuff, and if I am specking, it's all stuff that's within my sort of on my comic book radar to begin with. So this is a lot better. Except for this stain here. I don't know what caused that stain, but there's a lot of weird staining on this book. And I guess some of it is just degradation. Now this comic book was penciled by Chris Sprouse, and he looks to have a very unique art style. This book is also well known for this origin of Two-Face, and what happened was they were going to the book, when it was written and drawn as intended, had panels of a house blowing up and killing people inside. And basically, there were these thugs that did it, and at the time, they decided not to do that because they were worried it would, inspire people to go and blow up other people's houses and all this just sort of random, weird, I guess, tangential assumptions that these editors had. But they took out those pages. They thought, okay, this is a little controversial. It doesn't really add anything to the story other than just give people ideas about vandalizing and arson and just terrorist type activities. So they took it out, and that's what this issue is known for, the omission of that, or the censorship of that those pages, removing those pages from the story. But yeah, I mean, Chris Prouse, I mean, he's not a bad artist, but he's no Neal Adams. And so I guess for those of you that bought this book thinking, oh yeah, I'm gonna get a Neal Adams comic book, well, technically you did get a Neal Adams comic book, but just for the cover page. And wow, we're getting a lot of dirt off this spine here, which is great. Just gonna, there we go. A lot of dirt plugged into that spine here. Great. So yeah, there's some staining there, some degradation on the cover. Looks like some of the gloss is worn down. There's these weird splotches here. There aren't any major creases, which is nice, but again, the spine is pretty bent from the reading. And the book overall isn't, again, with the press, it's gonna get all these little weird, like, they're just sort of like a weird, like, splotchy rippling here and there on the book. So hopefully, again, at some point, this isn't a book that's ever going to be submitted for grading, unless, I mean, maybe, I don't want to say never, but there are just a lot of other books I'd rather have in a slab than this one. This one I'm just happy to own, just in a bag and board. And again, at some point, when I retire, I'll have all the time in the world to just really focus on, adding more books to the collection, and then bequeathing my collection to hopefully my son, who will also share an interest. But that's the thing, like, you can't ever know what your kids are going to be into. I don't want to force this hobby upon him, but hopefully you'll understand. I will teach him the value of comic books and what these artists do and who these artists are. He will know who Neal Adams was, and he will know the works of Neal Adams, starting with his amazingly beautiful cover here. So I'm just gonna kind of focus on this last part here, and I'd like to, if you're watching this video and you've stuck around this far, let me know in the comments. I want to know what books so obviously I went to Half Price Books. I found this book. Neal Adams has been on top of mind, and so when I ran across this book, I was like, wait, no, really, for $1, for half off of cover price here, $2, $1 for this book? No way. And you get that sense of elation, right? Like, oh my God, this is a great find, right? It's so cheap. I picked it up cheap. It's a book I've been wanting. It's a book for the PC. It's something I want to share and just kind of let people know what a great find I got. What is that for you? Let me know in the comments. Especially, and not something. I don't want. We've all had those moments. I want to know, when was the last time, the most recent time, you got that sense. And again, eBay does not count. Not going on eBay and just getting something for a great deal or winning an auction does not count. I'm talking about Oon-myoung here. This video is about Oon-myoung. Destiny, fate. When did you go specifically just to pick up books? Maybe it was another book. You were going to pick up, looking for another book, but you ran into a completely unexpected find. You ended up picking it up and you were just over the moon at what you found. I want to know that book. That's just put it in the comments, like, oh, I found ASM #1 for 50 cents last week. That's what I want to see in the comments. Something of that, where I'll just be like, wow, awesome. For me, it's this book. But more. So this definitely needs a press. You can see right there all that rippling. But more than this book is the Neal Adams book. It's my Superman 243 that I found for $5. It's about a 3.0 grade, and it's a pretty beat up copy, but I love that book. And that was, I would say that's my big, wow, I'm so happy I got this book kind of moment. I'd have a lot of those on my hauls, fortunately. I think whenever I, because of my approach to comics, because I'm not trying to pick up like everything I want, but I do have a good sense of what I want, and a good sense of, like, if I see something, kind of knowing what the value of things are, that it brings me a lot of those kinds of moments, because I'm not looking to spend a lot on books, and I'm just really trying to find bargains, both in the 25-cent bin, dollar bin, $2 bins, these types of situations. And so for me, finding a book like this is just that much more rewarding than winning a book off an auction and paying a lot of money for it, because paying $1 for this book to me seems like a steal. And so yeah, we're just gonna end it there. This is gonna end up in a bag and board, but I just want you to admire just a beautiful cover by the legend Neal Adams. Rest in peace, Mr. Adams. And thank you for the amazing work you did on this cover. Two-Face. Probably the best villain cover in my collection. Yeah, this is the best villain cover in my collection for sure. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.